First off, our car tester Sascha Knapp is going to tell us about BMW's 4 Series Gran Coupe. It combines features from the 6 Series Gran Coupe with technology taken from the 3 and 4 Series. So, let's see what it can do. The 4 Series Gran Coupe is the little brother of the larger 6 Series Gran Coupe, the most popular model in that series. But it takes its roofline and other styling features from the 3 Series sedan. So the 4 Series Gran Coupe is competing with models from BMW's own range. But the car maker still thinks there's still a market niche waiting to be filled. The entire 4 Series looks to offer just a little bit more of everything: a longer wheelbase, more sporty luxury, and more design features. At the same time, it offers the comforts of BMW's other 4-door coupes, including easy access to the rear and hatchback access to the trunk. The exterior is a winning blend of aggressive sportiness and sophisticated elegance. From the side, we see the slightly higher roof and the elongated coupe-like roofline that slopes gently to the back. BMW's Paloma Schmidt-Breitling explains the concept. It's designed for sporty drivers who want a plus in functionality and comfort. Rear doors give easy access to the back seats, allowing 5 passengers to travel in comfort. The rear seats fold down so the trunk expands to a roomy 1,300 liters, large enough for 2 mountain bikes or a lot of luggage. Sascha demonstrates the easy access function. 1 step under the rear and the trunk opens, offering 480 liters of cargo space. Another step and the hatchback door closes automatically. Now he'll take a look to see how much room there is in the back row. It's a tough test because Sascha is over 1.90 meters. Once he's in the car, it's roomier than he expected. There's enough leg room. Overhead, though, it starts getting a bit tight toward the back. The interior is well organized with an eye to function, but it's still sporty with a modern look. The workmanship stacks up to the 6 and 7 Series. But BMW's portfolio offers plenty of choices already. Do they really need this new version? Paloma Schmidt-Breitling says yes. BMW's 3 Series comes in a sedan, a station wagon, and a Gran Turismo. With the 4 Series Gran Coupe, the car maker now has 4 excellent 4-doors on the market. And within the 4-door options, customers now can choose between greater comfort or a sportier, more dynamic car. The wealth of choices extend to the engine too. There are 12 versions with and without all-wheel drive. We're looking at the 428i X-Drive with an output of 180 kilowatts. This engine is offered in all markets and every country. Paloma Schmidt-Breitling says the biggest markets will be the US, Germany, the UK, and China. So it's a very European car with a concept that will also appeal to the US and China. In Germany, the base model 4 Series Gran Coupe will retail at just under 36,000 euros with no extras. Ours here has plenty of frills with a price to match. Sascha says this 428i clocks in at just under 66,000 euros. We'll see if the 4 Series Gran Coupe can hold its own in the BMW lineup. Car tester Emanuel Schaefer describes the Kia Optima as handsome, and the design awards it's won back him up. Now we're going on a little test drive to check out the rest of it. The ride starts before the engine's even running. When Emanuel Schaefer pushes the start button, the driver's seat automatically moves into the right position. The disadvantage is that when he turns the car off, the seat moves back again. That's hard to get used to.
öffne die Tür und während ich aussteigen will, fährt der Sitz nach hinten. Das ist etwas gewöhnungsbedürftig.
The Optima is Kia's mid-range entry. To hold its own against the German market leaders, it sports a German design and an engine developed by Opel. That does help overcome some of the Kia's spotty reputation. The Kia does some things quite well, but not everything. Emmanuel says the Optima's steering is a bit mushy. You don't get much feedback from the road to guide you. They could have made it a bit tighter. The Optima's interior is done in materials that have a nice look and feel to them. The navigation system is directed toward the driver. The dashboard layout is clear and well organized. The driver's seat can remember 2 settings, but there's still some room for improvement. Emmanuel says he likes the feel of the wheel, but the glossy finish seems out of place. The design by Peter Schreier of Germany stands out with its Ice Cube LED running lights and glossy black trim. The contours are streamlined and guaranteed to turn heads. The rear hints at a sport sedan with its angular taillights and spoiler lip. Emmanuel gives the Kia Optima points for comfortable seats and a suspension that's not too hard and not too soft. So even a long drive on holiday would be manageable without doing you in. A button opens the trunk. That has 505 liters of cargo space, 25 more than a Mercedes C-Class. And it's expandable. But the opening is narrow, which makes loading harder. Further forward, it can get a bit tight. Emmanuel's satisfied with the headroom, but says taller people might have some problems with it. The seat can't be set any lower. It's a minor flaw. The car we tested comes in at 121 kilowatts with a top speed of 210 kilometers per hour. The Optima is rated at 162 grams of CO2 emissions per kilometer. At 7 liters per 100 kilometers, consumption is high, especially given the sluggishness of the engine. Emmanuel says the 2-liter gasoline engine in his test car had rather poor pickup. When he stepped on the gas, it took the engine forever to get up to speed. It didn't really kick in properly until it hit 3,000 RPMs. So what's the overall verdict? After some time behind the wheel of Kia Optima, he has a feel for its pluses and minuses. One clear point in its favor is price. This top-of-the-line model starts at 31,000 euros. That wouldn't even get you a basic Mercedes C-Class. The Optima's base model starts at just under 25,000 euros in Germany, 8,000 less than an entry-model Mercedes C-Class. So if you like the feel and don't mind the high fuel consumption, the Kia Optima may well be a contender. This fall, Volkswagen will launch the 8th generation Passat in sedan and station wagon versions. The proportions appear much more dynamic. The wheelbase is longer and the chassis sits lower. There will be 9 engine versions ranging from 88 to 206 kilowatts. There's a new 177 kilowatt diesel and a 155 kilowatt plug-in hybrid. And to boost fuel economy, the new Passat will be 85 kilos lighter. The price tag hasn't changed much, just under 26,000 euros in Germany for the base model. Mercedes unveiled its new CLS in London. It's a gentle update with changes to the front. As before, the CLS comes in a 4-door with a flowing roofline, and in the shooting brake, a roomy 5-door station wagon. The new entry-level engine is a 2.2-liter diesel with an output of 125 kilowatts and 400 newton-meters of torque. New multi-beam LED headlights are the big innovation. It features individually controlled LEDs that adjust the beam length automatically to provide optimal lighting in all traffic conditions. Permanent all-wheel drive, electromechanical power steering, and a multi-link sports suspension with adjustable dampers. Audi has packed a lot of technology into this little pocket rocket that's shaking up the compact class. Our tester Montes Kurat says this Audi A1 really isn't an A1 at all. It's the most powerful variant in the model line, the S1. The car has a 231 horsepower engine and permanent quattro all-wheel drive, and today Montes plans to see if it can live up to expectations. Like a reptile, the S1 sits low to the ground, but it doesn't need to bask in the sun. It generates enough heat on its own. The hot hatches suspension has been lowered by 10 millimeters compared to standard A1 models. The S1 also boasts brakes that can stop on a dime, and the Audi flaunts its flagship model status with a showy rear spoiler. And twin oval tailpipes with chrome tips. Its paint job is flashy too. There's no doubt this car's meant to stand out from the crowd. The S1 Sportback gets its incredible power from its turbocharged 2-liter TFSI engine, which produces up to 370 newton-meters of torque. Its sound is sporty and sonorous. The four-door hot hatch can go from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in just 5.9 seconds and reach a top speed of 250 kilometers an hour. On average, the car has a fuel mileage of 7.1 liters per 100 kilometers. Mata says it takes a little while for the turbo to kick in, but when it does, the car goes like lightning, pinning you to your seat. And thanks to the Quattro all-wheel drive, there's no need to worry about losing traction, as the car really grips the road. Mata says the all-wheel drive has another advantage too. When picking up speed, the motor has less effect on the steering, for instance when accelerating out of a curve. Montes finds the interior to be of high quality, as you'd expect in an Audi. There's a fine mix of materials and little details, like the red rings around the air vent and the start-stop button. And some of the S1's details hint at Audi's motorsport pedigree, like the stainless steel pedal caps and the leather-trimmed flat-bottom steering wheel. The S1 is fitted with a 6-speed manual transmission, and there's no overlooking the fact that this car is a Quattro. Sport seats with integrated headrests cocoon the driver and front seat passenger, giving them the feeling of being in a real race car. But open the trunk and you'll see that there's not much luggage space. It's one of the S1's minor weaknesses. So what's Montes' overall impression? He says the S1 is great fun to drive. It doesn't have a big trunk or a lot of room in the back seat, but he says these aren't must-haves for a fun hot hatch. But that fun does come at a price. In Germany, the S1 has a starting price of close to 31,000 euros, 13,000 more than a bare-bones A1 Sportback. classic car expert Christoph Bauer takes off in the Matra Jet. Half a century ago, the sports car designed by Frenchman René Bonnet caused a sensation at the Salon de l'Automobile in Paris, with both its eccentric design and innovative technology. Christoph says he's driving a 1966 Jet with a fiberglass body and a souped-up 1300cc four-cylinder engine. It's located right behind him, under a bump in the trunk. This is a mid-engine vehicle, and he says that's what's really special about the Jet. The first viable mid-engine sports car appeared in the 1930s. Auto Union's Silver Arrows carried their powerful engines right behind the driver, achieving ideal weight distribution. The Cooper Car Company specialists resurrected the mid-engine concept for Formula 3 racing in the late 1940s. It's been the standard in Formula 1 since the 1960s. This Matra Jet also has the feel of a race car. Before the engine's warmed up, Christoph says it can be rather stubborn, knocking, rattling, and spitting. But once it's up to running temperature, upwards of 3,000 RPMs, it shows what it's really made of. Then it's a joy to step on the gas. It makes the dash from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in 8 seconds and has a top speed of 210, surprising for a little 1300cc engine. Automobile René Bonnet turned out the first 190 Jets from 1962 to 1964. Then, arms manufacturer Matra took control and changed various details to ready the Jet for larger scale production. Jets continued to be made until 1968. Christoph says the transmission is a disaster. Finding the right gear is a matter of pure luck, not to mention the reverse gear. Apparently, the makers were saving money by using the transmission of a Renault delivery van, but they put it so far in back that it's connected by a tangle of rods with a little stick shift. So it's no fun at all for Christoph. Matra launched the most potent version of its mid-engine rocket in 1966. With a curb weight of 775 kilos, this jet puts out a good 105 horsepower. The street version's body design hardly disguises its race car origins. In Christoph's view, a Jet driver would have to have an affinity for racing. Instead of real car seats, you lie in racing bucket seats with your behind just above the floor, so it's nice and loud. The engine breathes down your neck, and there's no trace of noise insulation. The Matra seems oddly out of place, like some kind of spaceship against the historical backdrop of Riva del Garda's medieval belfry, the Torre Apponale. The streamlining of the fiberglass body is interrupted only by the two air scoops that cool the engine. The interior also reflects the racing vibe. A small steering wheel, a short gear shift, and instruments everywhere. Christoph thinks a Finnish sauna is nothing compared to the Matra Jet. He likes the flat windscreens, but they just make things hotter. And the cooling system is in front, while the engine is farther back. And the hoses that connect them run through the passenger compartment. The Finnish sauna feel is rounded off by the hot engine mounted behind the driver and insulated only by this carpet. The only thing to do is open the roof. But a sunroof was only installed in 12 Jets. This was because at high speeds the wind could take out the rear window. Just below the rear windshield is the souped-up four-cylinder engine developed by Amedeo Godini. Two dual carburetors deliver high performance and a raw and raspy sound. The Matra Jet was originally conceived for the 24 Hours of Le Mans sports car race, says Christoph. Volume production was actually a kind of byproduct. Clues are the custom-made fiberglass body on a steel frame, making it very lightweight, and the chassis with Formula 3 features. Also, the independent wishbone suspension and coil springs. All this, combined with a small steering wheel, allow the driver to take the Matra into curves with the greatest of ease and precision. But the real novelty here is the mid-engine. Before the Jet, only race cars had ever placed the engine right by the driver. It was Matra that brought this concept out onto city streets. Christoph says only 1,681 Matra Jets were ever built, yet it still made automotive history as the first mid-engine car in volume production and set a standard for generations of super sports cars. Thanks to the near-perfect weight distribution, 52% in the back and 48% in front, it was absolutely unmatched in terms of handling. So it's, without a doubt, a milestone in automotive history. It was also a trendsetter. In the 1960s, Di Tommaso, Lamborghini, Lotus, Ferrari, Porsche, and almost every other high-profile sports car maker brought out a mid-engine car of their own.